Hey kids, Mr. Little again. Today I'm going to give you the oral recording for the chemistry on-level review quiz. Before I begin, you may want to make sure that you have access to your periodic table. This is one of those where you may potentially have to switch screens so that you can look at a periodic table. I would definitely recommend that you've gone through the slide deck because there's a lot of stuff on here that you're going to be able to answer much more easily if you have access to that information, such as location of the protons, neutrons, and electrons, what are valence electrons, what are groups and periods, and so forth. So make sure that you have access to all that information because it is going to become very useful. There are 10 questions on this review quiz, so let's go and get started. Obviously, the first thing you're going to do is put in your first and last name, select the correct class period, and then we'll start with question number 1. Which model of an atom is labeled correctly? So we're looking to figure out, are the labels provided, are they representing each of the subatomic particles in the correct location? Is A correct, B correct, C, or D? Next question. An atom's mass is 210 and its atomic number is 85. How many neutrons does the atom have? Remember, kids, use 8-man, okay? Use 8-man. If I'm trying to find the number of neutrons, look what I need to do in order to figure that out. Is it 85, 125, 210, or 295? Next question, represented by a Bohr model. Okay, it shows the Bohr model of an atom of nitrogen. According to the model, how many valence electrons does the atom have? Remember, kids, your valence electrons are your number of electrons in your outermost shell. So do I have 2 valence electrons, 5 valence electrons, 7 valence electrons, or 14 valence electrons? Next question. The diagram below shows a model of an atom. Which letter points to the part of the atom where a negatively charged particle can be found? Again, look through the notes, kids, because your key item here is which one is a negatively charged particle. Is it label A, label B, label C, or label D? Where would I find a negatively charged particle? Next question. The following image shows a section of the periodic table of the elements. Each atom of sulfur, which is right here, has 6 valence electrons. Remember, it's synonymous with our groups, kids. Which of these elements also has 6 valence electrons? Oxygen, boron, nitrogen, or phosphorus? Which of those also has 6 valence electrons? Okay, next question. The periodic table is arranged in columns and rows. What are the columns and the rows of the periodic table called? Are the columns called periods and the rows called energy levels? Are the columns called groups and the rows called periods? Are the columns called atomic numbers and the rows periods? Or are the columns called groups and the rows atomic number? Hopefully you're seeing how important looking through those notes are and being able to answer these questions. The picture below shows a part of the periodic table. Which pair of elements are in the same period, kids? Remember that a period is represented by, well, let me give you an example. When you're in LA class and you are writing a sentence, at the very end of the sentence, typically you put a period. So are your periods going to be represented from left to right, or you're up, down? Okay, think about how you write, and that should be able to help you answer the question. Is it represented by LA and RU, which is LA and RU? Is it RA and SG, right here and here? Is it LI and NA, right here? Or is it K and MG, right here? Which 2 of those are in the same period? The following image shows a chemical reaction taking place. What can you infer about this reaction? In a chemical reaction, kids, remember, what happens when I have a chemical reaction? Mass is not conserved. The reaction absorbs heat. The products will have different properties than the reactants. or there are reactants but no products. Okay, there's a number of check boxes on this one, kids. You're going to check off a minimum of 5 of these because you're looking for what are the 5 signs of a chemical reaction. And I believe looking at this that there are exactly 5. Is it bubbling, gas production, unexpected color change, production of a condensate, evaporation of a liquid, formation of a solid, which in class, remember, we call a precipitate, a precipitant, unexpected temperature change, freezing of a liquid, production of a new odor, or melting of a solid. Last question. Which of the following occurrences indicates that a chemical reaction has taken place? An odor is produced by burning a sugar cube. A puddle is produced by melting an ice cube. A loud noise is produced by crushing a can. Or a shard of glass is produced by breaking a bottle. Make sure, kids, that you check your answers, and when you are finished, make sure that you click the send button in the top right-hand corner. And that concludes the oral recording for the Chemistry On Level Review Quiz.